My name is Petya Rasheva, a student in the Stanford LEAD program. In continuation of the Building Power to Lead course and the series of interviews on Path to Power, I am talking today to Irina Volk, the General Manager of Dell Technologies for Ukraine, CIS, and the Baltics. Welcome, Irina.
Welcome, Petya. Very nice to be with you today.
Very nice having you. Irina, you are now the general manager for Dell in a whole region, and you are in charge of 8 countries.
Correct.
Would you please give us a very brief overview of your career path so far?
Yeah, so of course, I'm already mostly 5 years in Dell, happily serving my customers, my partners, and of course, my lovely team, which is pretty much diverse. As you said, I'm covering 8 countries. Before I worked for Microsoft in around mostly 9 years in very different roles. I must confess that covering multi-regional geography and multicultural diverse team, it is not new for me. So my last 2-3 years in Microsoft was dedicated also to much more broader region, but I was started in Ukraine. So, and before Microsoft, I worked also about 8.5, mostly 9 years for Samsung. Samsung telco division, big department. I was basically starting this business for Samsung in Ukraine and also other countries, Belarus, Moldova, and Baltics. And before Samsung, I was working for Telco. So I'm a grandma of, let's say, IT and telco industry with the experience working not only in Ukraine, but with, let's say, a bunch of countries, Baltics and CIS.
Yes, your career is really very, very impressive, Irina. And looking back, what do you think has been critical in your path to power? What has been critical for your career success?
That's the super good question, Petya. And my answer probably will surprise you, but I'm grateful that all that I achieved in my life and my career, it is like for grit. Grit is a crucial, I believe, attribute of my character. And as you know, grit is a non-cognitive trait. So I'm lucky to have it. I owe it to determination and success on the path of my realization. I mean, my career is a realization. I should say I'm not a sprinter. I'm more sort of marathon runner who enjoys both results, accomplishment, and also way how those results were achieved. So, and I think it is, for me, also part of my belief that you shouldn't be in a rush when you are trying to build very strong path to the power, right? And fortunately, really fortunately, my path to power, to my kind of success which I had in my career, it was not with easy way, right? So I had to work hard to pump my missing skills, worked on my blind zone spots, right? And what is important And I also believe I was lucky enough that I had the honor of working with great leaders and mentors. It helped me to develop very important habit of permanent learning. And it helped me not just copy-paste someone's behavior, but built my unique leadership DNA. And not only built, but also keep staying relevant to all changes, to all innovation, which like we all face in our modern world.
Yes, your industry is very dynamic one.
Yeah, it's true. It's really true. I think probably most fastest and dynamic industry we know.
You use the expression bullet train, right?
Correct.
And Irina, once you reach a position of seniority, once you become the leader of leaders, what do you think is necessary to maintain it?
I mean, I'm looking to this in some view of, as you know, people say, okay, in order to preserve what you have today, you need to go further. You need to even run forward, right? So if you stop, it means that you will pretty quickly, you will slide down back, right? So therefore, my view and my belief that sustaining the status quo is probably most unfortunate strategy to maintain power. So you shouldn't relax for every single minute enjoying, okay, so currently I am on the, power position. Finally, I've got to the level I was dreaming about, so I work hard, so now it's time to relax. So it is not. So that's even more important, to keep the way of, let's say, learning, to keep the way to for self-improvement, to working with, again, your kind of area you believe you need to be more stronger than you were, for example, yesterday. But another important thing, and it is also my belief, it is to be consistent. So to be consistent, what do you mean by this? I mean that you need to be consistent and replicate your leadership DNA under any circumstances, under any challenges you face. So even if it is a risk of lose the power you have, sort of in short term, so it is bad, my opinion, to compromise with those value which like you preach as a leader. So staying with your core without compromising that, and this is like my DNA. This is how I this is why I am here. And consistency, since I talk about consistency, but important to understand what is behind of this consistency. And to be consistent and replicate your leadership DNA on not only on daily basis, but even under like super tough circumstances, challenging circumstances, even if it is risk of losing the power you have currently. I think that's the super important in long-term perspective, right? Because the leadership DNA, that's the something that's the core, that's the value which you preach as a leader, right? So and that's something which is okay, somebody can call it, okay, this is your brand, right? So we all know from the market and how fast you can damage your brand, right? So it can be one event or even one sentence which can destroy your brand in marketing world. And that's the same for leader. That's the same for in the same extent important for retaining a position of power. So do not relax. Do not, trying to sustain the status quo and kind of keep the chair, right? But to keep learning, to keep to be open-minded for new, for kind of to learn from other people, and also be consistent despite of all circumstances and despite of all challenges you will face.
Thank you, Irina, for this insight and very good advice. Now, my last question. You travel a lot, you love traveling, but also you must travel because of work. And your kids are in the UK. How do you balance? Is it challenging for you to balance your work, let's say, situation and your personal life?
Balancing work and personal life, it's not easy stuff. If somebody will tell you, okay, that's easy, I manage, I don't believe that's the 100% true. So there are many years already, I'm a bit living sort of in the planes. So heavy travel in terms of business. I also love travel with kids around the world. So yeah, it is physically hard, but there are also a lot of good and positive signs when you travel, right? For me, I try to work on both sides. For example, first element of how I try to improve my work-life balance, and it is a way. So it is not something you can fix one time. So I'm trying to work, okay, how I can do my work more efficiently. I already many years with this remote working anywhere from everywhere. So, and that technology currently can support in very good way the format of working traveler, I should say. From other hand, that's focusing, okay, on understanding on yourself. So how I care about myself. So what is the meaning time for myself each single day? And here, important learning for me, it is not managing time. I mean, okay, so I am 50% dedicated to my personal life, and 50% of my time I am dedicating to work. For me, it is more about challenging, managing energy. So, and as soon as you start to understand yourself, where is your kind of peak energy time? So, and you started to focus, for example, important work to this time, right? Or important time with your family and kids in this time. It become much more easier because, yeah, it is still 24 hours for all of us, right? But we all have different energy waves. For someone, for example, for me, I'm more energetic on morning hours. So I will not be able to, for example, stay overnight, trying to accomplish all my tasks from checklist, but I will rather to wake up 1 hour earlier, and I will do that, and it will be very good for me. So for me, work-life balance, that's understanding what is your core and what do not forget about yourself. Use technology and use all we have in our modern world to do your work more efficiently, right? And most important, to manage your energy waves, to learn how to stay productive and how to rebalance all your activities and tasks, based on your energy waves.
That's very interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much, Irina, for this conversation on my behalf and on behalf of my classmates at the Stanford Lead.
Thank you. It was a big pleasure. It was really big pleasure. Thank you, Petya.
Have a great day.